Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting IFOAM Organics International at your important event at the Nanhua University in Taiwan. We are very pleased to be part of your important conference where we will talk about circular economy. Particularly from IFOAM Organics International, we will be talking about transforming food systems within such circular or local economy. My name is Louise Luttikholt. I'm the Executive Director of IFOAM Organics International, and I will share with you experiences from our organization, from our members, all around the world as an input for your conference. First, let us look at what the circular economy actually can mean. Does it have to do with locality? Does it have to do with nature, with people who worked it? How do we account for circular economies? I think it's interesting to look at the origin of the word economy. It's coming from ancient Greek, oikos. And actually, oikos is also the basis for the word ecology. Oikos means a home. So that's very interesting and to the point of the subject of your conference. So we're talking about our common home. Our common home is our nature, our Mother Earth. However, over time, economy has taken the overhand, and it looks like that if the household of our common home, the budget of our common home, has taken over more importance over time than actually the basis of our common home, the ecology. With circular economies, we can put the balance straight again and do justice to the origin of both words, ecology and economy, so that they serve our common home, our Mother Earth. And here we have a depiction of our common Earth. But as you can see, there is something interesting with this picture. And I took it from the Stockholm Resilience Center, who already, under the lead of Professor Rockström in the year 2009, identified 9 Earth systems. So these are vital systems in our Earth that makes it possible for us, human beings, to live on our Mother Earth, our common home. It is very interesting to look at this picture. Those 9 Earth systems, of course, have different measures and different scales. But what is so good from this study from the Stockholm Resilience Institute is that they bring them all together and make the scales comparable. And in the green area, our planet is still livable. That are our planetary boundaries. However, if we go outside of them, we trespass our planetary boundaries and bring not only the Earth in danger, but our very existence on it. As I said already, 9 Earth systems are identified that are of vital importance for our survival on Earth. 7 of those Earth systems actually relate to agriculture. They relate to agriculture in the way that they make it possible for agriculture to take place. But also the other way around. The way we do agriculture impacts the extent of which this Earth system can stay within its planetary boundaries or whether it goes beyond. And some of the Earth systems that you see here are in the red, are for instance our nitrogen cycles that have been turned fully upside down by the way we do agriculture. And also climate is endangered. The interesting thing is that when agriculture is so much related to 7 of these 9 Earth systems, it means that agriculture can also be a tool in healing our common home. And this is a way to depict that. I'm quite sure you're all familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals. And many times they are visualized as on a row from 1 to 17, as if they're all equally important. The point of this visualization, however, is that they're not. Some SDGs are more important than others, and that is because those SDGs that relate to our biosphere actually create the fundament on which our societies can thrive. And economy is only a service to our society. That's why you see it at another level. So with this picture, we make very clear that it is our common earth, our common home, oikos, on which we depend for our societal living. But of course, it's also the other way around. What we all bring as culture has always been dependent on the ecological context in which human beings have been living. And when I say culture, I mean the way we live in our houses, but also the food that we eat. And so then we are back to agriculture again. So kindly let me introduce to you the principles of organic agriculture. The principles of health, ecology, fairness and care actually express how we in organic agriculture would like to deal with our Mother Earth. These principles are a horizon, if you like, a vision, but they're also an instruction. How can we live to do no harm to our common home? Recently, in the discourse of the United Nations, the agroecology has come up. And as you can see in this visualization, the 10 elements of agroecology, as presented by the Food and Agriculture Organization, are very much overlapping with the 4 principles of organic agriculture. And we are very pleased that at such high international level, agroecology, which is, if you like, another term for organic agriculture, is being recognized as very important to reach those sustainable development goals. And currently there's a process going on which is called scaling up agroecology. So we want to see more of it. And here again, localized food systems, circular economies can play a very important role. And you see that they are part of one of those 10 elements of agroecology. They actually point to the social context in which agriculture takes place. And they also make a point, just as the principle of fairness of organic agriculture, that farmers should be rewarded in a fair way. But not only farmers should be rewarded in a fair way. Of course, also land, our earth, agriculture as a whole. I also want to share with you the Food Systems Summit process that is going on this year. This is another initiative of the United Nations in which all over the world, culminating in a big conference in September this year, there are discussions about how sustainable food systems look like, what is our common vision for the future, and how do we transform to those food systems. Because clearly, currently, the majority of our food systems is not sustainable. That has to do with the economic context in which agriculture takes place. And here again we go back to the foundation of this word, oikos. But currently the economic context of agriculture actually causes a lot of the harms that we see happening in the world. For instance, it contributes to climate change, it contributes to biodiversity loss, not to speak of the labor conditions in which many of the farm workers have to work. Why? To have cheap food. But later we will see that cheap food actually is not that cheap and it comes at a very high cost. So in this process of the Food Systems Summit, IFOAM Organics International is also involved. And I'd like to encourage you and your university to also set up a food systems dialogue and feed in your input in this global process. Then let us have a look at further developments in the organic sector. And for that, I wanted to introduce to you Organic 3.0. Please also refer to our website if you want to see more. The point of Organic 3.0 is that organic is there to help healing the world. So instead of us looking at the strict details of standards, which are important, of course, we also can look at organic on how it can contribute to help improve all of agriculture. So it's not about us being happy in our niche because we think we do good, but it's way more a responsibility that we have to make sure that also others, farmers and consumers alike, can make the step to truly sustainable agriculture. And so if you like, Organic 3.0 is an invitation. It's an invitation for others to also move more in the direction of sustainability. And so Organic 3.0 also allows us, if you like, to be open for other terminology. Whether you call it agroecology, as we just saw, or natural farming, or other ways of pointing to sustainability, we welcome a dialogue with all those movements so that we can make sure that together we can move up to more sustainability in agriculture. And as we saw at the picture on the planetary boundaries, this is really, really necessary. So, as we also know from the source of this word, oikos, economy and ecology, everything is interconnected. And the point I want to make with this slide is that as a farmer, as a producer, we are not only interconnected in space currently. For instance, a producer produces and somebody buys at the market, but we're also interconnected in time, because the producer can only produce because there is seed which is delivered over centuries and being bred and refined by other farmers. And further, the land that we grow on, we will give to our future generations. So farmers hold a very, very important position in a transformation to a truly sustainable world. Actually, they are key. So for IFOAM Organics International, an example of circular economy is what we call participatory guarantee systems. These are localized verification systems in which farmers, but also possibly with consumers, decide on local standards for their production systems, which they can check among each other and which they also can support each other with, so that the products of this sustainable production system can be brought commonly to a local market. Participatory guarantee systems is a movement, if you like, is a way of producing that came up in Latin America, but currently is spread all over the world. And we're also happy to know that there are participatory guarantee groups in Taiwan, so that you yourself can check with the producers and get fresh produce that is honestly produced at the market. And now you will see a little video on how participatory guarantee systems function.
Shake the hand that feeds you. That's an interesting idea.
May I help you?
Well, I'd like to buy some organic eggs, but I've never seen this logo before.
You're in the right place. These eggs, as well as all the products sold at this market, are guaranteed through a PGS.
What's a PGS?
It stands for Participatory Guarantee System. It means that us producers, together with consumers and others from our community, come together to form a guarantee system that ensures the organic quality of our products and much more.
More?
Yes, well, many people in our community shared a vision to practice agroecology, produce safe and nutritious food, and ensure better livelihoods for producers. We wanted a system where we could decide, together with our community, how the food we produce and eat is grown. So we started using organic standards which also cover things like fairness, economic sustainability, and energy efficiency. We all participate in the management of the system, and decision-making is equal and horizontal. For example, we take time each year to verify every producer that wants to sell at this market.
And how does that work?
We call it a peer review. PGS farmers, together with consumers, visit each other's farms to see how things are being managed. The quality control is carried out by our own members.
Well, I don't know much about farming in general. Could be a good way to learn more.
Oh, definitely. Through these visits, we all learn. As producers, we're always looking for ways to improve our work. And by joining the visits, consumers better understand how the food they eat is produced and what our challenges are. Participatory guarantee systems create an environment of trust and transparency. By building a system together, members develop a sense of ownership and awareness, which ensures integrity from field to fork.
That sounds great. And what if I would like to take part?
Well, you're more than welcome. Just come along to our next meeting.
I'll do that, thank you.
Participatory guarantee systems, building sustainable food systems and healthy communities.
So as the video explained, participatory guarantee systems really are a puzzle piece in a circular economy, because the reward, the money, but also the fruits of a sustainable production stay within the community. However, not all companies work on such a local level. There are also companies that, for instance, export for whatever reason. And also we would like them to be more responsible about other aspects than only money. And so that's why in the European country of Austria, Mr. Christian Felber has developed the idea of the economy of the good. And that's a very nice concept, because as we already earlier saw, agriculture, conventional agriculture, actually causes a lot of harm or bad to the world. But if you do good, can we also try to measure what we do good and how we can even improve over future? So the economy of the common good, as developed by Mr. Christian Felber, actually invites those companies who are participating to make a balance sheet that is extended beyond financial figures only. So it will also look at the impact on human dignity, for instance, or it will look at the contribution of the particular company to solidarity. And economic figures are mostly only a moment in time, but this extended balance sheet also looks at economic sustainability over time. So how is this company doing over time, and does it contribute to the community where it's founded in? So I recommend to have a look in this interesting literature of Mr. Christian Felber. And that's an invitation to us all, not only to organic farmers. So that's why I wanted to share with you this picture on policy levers driving sustainability. And that is because all farmers, whether they are organic or conventional farmers, they farm in the same socio-economic context. And very often it is the legal context and the incentives that it provides that actually determine what farmers are doing. Each individual farmer is an entrepreneur on itself, and she makes her own calculations on how she can sustain her farm. Most of the time, those calculations, of course, are based on economic terms, as we saw earlier. But maybe if we can change the framework in which we can count those economic terms, we can also change the way in which we do agriculture. And so what I want to show with this picture are what are the policy levers to drive agriculture towards more sustainability. You see, if you like, two bell curves, a small one and a big one. And on the x-axis, you see the amount of sustainability, which is not further defined, but the more you're on the right, the more sustainable you are. And on the y-axis, you see the number of farmers. And currently we see that a small number of farmers is working in an organic or agroecological way, which is quite sustainable. The majority of the farmers, through whatever circumstances, work more or less sustainable, but really not as it should be to stay within the planetary boundaries. And then there's a minority who are not sustainable at all. So what do we need to do? What does the government need to do? And what do we as a society need to do to make sure that all these bell curves, that whole of agriculture, moves up to more sustainability? Well, first of all, we need to make sure that organic agriculture can thrive, that there are more organic farmers, but also that organic agriculture can improve. Because it's not said that organic agriculture is 100% perfect. We still need to learn and need to move up, also towards more sustainability. But for that, we, for instance, need way more research money. And you might be aware that the amount of money that's currently put in research for organic agriculture is just a fraction of the overall agriculture research investments. So really, this needs to change to make sure that organic agriculture in itself can improve. A second lever is awareness raising. Many consumers are not only consumers. Just like you and I, we also have our role as citizens. And in our role as citizens, we want to make sure that we do good. And for that, we need to have the right information. And the right information can be given to us by governments, for instance, by clear labeling, by consumer organizations, or also through our civil society groups. So that's the second lever, awareness raising to make sure that we as citizens know what is sustainable production. The third lever is that we help all of farmers to move up towards more sustainability. And whether a farmer uses one technique of organic or agroecological farming or three, everything counts. It's important that everybody gets enabled to be more sustainable in the interest of our common earth. The fourth lever is also an important one, and there I think we should also have a clear language. There are just some practices in agriculture that we can no longer allow. For instance, burning of harvest leftovers or the use of very negative pesticides like glyphosate. So what we here need to do is moving up the bottom line so that some practices are no longer possible. So with these four policy levers, we are also able to change the context in which agriculture can take place so that farmers are incentivized to do the good. One tool that we can use to look at what is good is what we call true cost or full cost accounting. And in this tool, which if you like is more a mental tool or a conceptual tool, you can look at how often we pay for our food. Maybe you think that you pay once for your food when you go to the counter of the supermarket or when you're at the market. But in fact, we pay more often for it. If a government provides subsidies for farmers, that's already one way to pay for your food through your tax money. You pay at the counter. You pay also for taxes for cleaning up, for instance, the water, or for making natural conservation areas so that biodiversity can thrive again. And fourthly, most of the time we pay for our food with our health. Because when food is not healthy, how can we be healthy? Most of the time, all those costs, a farmer or a production system can externalize those. And that means that they are not accounted for in the way when we pay really for our food. And so this is a way, if you like, to artificially keep food cheap. But what we see, it comes at a high cost. For instance, at the cost of our environment, of our personal health. Now, if we were able to calculate all those costs and internalize them in the production, we would actually see that products would really represent the true price. because the government would then oblige companies, farmers, producers, processors alike to include all those costs and make them visible, so that really the incentivization for the production system is towards true sustainability. And only then we would know what the true costs of our food are. Now we can look into the details of this calculation, but I think that's not so interesting. For me, the concept of this true cost accounting is important, so that governments can see that when they move to organic agriculture, they actually not only focus at the agricultural area, but also, for instance, at the health or nature area, and therewith can actually provide support for several areas at once. And therewith, I would say organic products are not expensive, but actually help us to deliver to the Sustainable Development Goals. I wanted to make you aware of the guidebook that has been produced by CIFOR and also the handbook of ICLEI, which is the platform organization for sustainable cities, for working on circular economies. And interestingly, I find CIFOR is coming from a nature conservation angle, whereas ICLEI is coming from a cities angle. But both are looking at the same subject, the way I just described it also, and to make sure that when we talk about circular economy, we really can contribute to the common good. Interestingly, and you might have developed that already, the books are talking about food councils, which are advisory councils from citizens and experts alike who actually advise the local governments on how to purchase sustainable food. Lastly, you're of course aware of the Asian Local Governments for Organic Agriculture. This is a network of IFOAM Organics Asia on which we are very proud and also which has its members in Taiwan. These local governments, these mayors, I should say, have taken up the responsibility to green their own locality and put agriculture at the center of it. And I'm very pleased and also proud to say that New Taipei City, Hualien County, the Tsekin Organic Agriculture Foundation, and the Association of Taiwan Indigenous People are all a member of this network, in which they actually commit to make their own localities, their own territories more sustainable. Finally, I would like to invite you to the Organic World Congress of IFOAM Organics International, because what I could share with you here is only a snapshot at a very high level. However, at our Organic World Congress, you will be able to get way more in-depth information on all issues and topics that are related to a circular economy and how we can put organic agriculture at the center of it. I wish you for the coming days a very good, fruitful and interesting conference, and I thank you again for the opportunity to participate.